Call the meeting to order for the Urban Renewal Authority, June 9th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Roll call, please.
Certainly. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Commissioner Dennehy,
Here.
Gonzalez, Grantham,
Or
Hawkes, Hamrick,
Here.
Reed, Reeser,
Here.
Schmischer,
Here.
Ashley Smith,
Here.
Brandon Smith.
Here.
Chairman Payne.
Present. Thank you. I'd ask join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'd ask if there's any citizens to request to speak in front of the Urban Renewal Authority. I don't see anybody in the audience, so we'll move on. Consent agenda. So, Ryan?
Yeah, for the consent agenda, we have the approval of minutes for the urban renewal meeting on May 5th. And then one amendment to the agenda for tonight's meeting. We're going to remove the Holiday Inn Express redevelopment agreements and move that to the next meeting.
Okay, so item 6 will be taken off. Okay.
8A?
Should be 8. Okay. Okay, entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Reeser,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Which one?
Brandon Smith,
Aye.
the one who made the second. Commissioner Dennehy,
Aye.
Commissioner Grantham,
Aye.
Commissioner Hamrick,
Aye.
Commissioner Schmischer,
Aye.
Commissioner Ashley Smith,
Aye.
Chairman Payne.
Aye. Thank you. Move on to the financial report.
Do we need a formal motion to change the agenda?
We don't approve the agenda. We don't, it's
Okay.
not, it's
Well, I
not a,
move to approve the consent agenda as amended.
that's true. Okay. All right. Move on to the financial report. Ryan, do you have anything on that?
We don't have any new transactions.
That's true.
Financial report is pretty minimal right now.
Okay. And I assume the treasurer concurs with that.
So we did have one expenditure, $480 and change. I'm assuming that was for checks or stationery based on the name of the vendor?
It was for the checks for the Urban Renewal Authority.
Would it be too inconvenient to have a little bit more of a description in the accounts payable field, if characters, of course, will allow? Because when I get on the bank statement, it's sometimes a little too succinct.
I will see what we can do, absolutely.
Thank you. So the balance, folks, is and this is at the end of May, $343,993.67.
Okay? Do we need a formal motion on the treasurer's report? There's nothing much to go on there.
No.
No, okay, thank you very much. Move on to executive director report.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
So just a question on that. That means that we've spent approximately $150,000 so far, is that correct?
Yes, we spent. Back in April, we had $37,772.95, well, we had $155,525.80 that was spent in April. And the description is reimbursement for Water Street.
And that, yeah, that's the sewer line that went in for the Skyline Steel site.
Thank you.
Okay. My apologies, I should have asked if anybody had any questions. Sorry. Now we'll move on. Now, does anybody have any other questions? Whew. Got a tough crowd tonight. Now I'll invite the executive director to give a report.
We are currently in negotiations with Pharisee Ford regarding their redevelopment agreements. Rick and I have both met with TZAC Heavy Equipment regarding their building and working towards negotiations for a redevelopment agreement on that project as well. And we are seeing quite a few projects come in from an economic development standpoint. Don't know at this point whether or not they will turn into urban renewal projects or not, but the activity, the development activity is really good right now, despite the fact that COVID and rising prices for building materials are going on. We're still seeing a very active pipeline of projects. We're also, it's been a couple meetings now trying to work on scheduling that work session. We've had some scheduling conflicts between city staff, the attorneys, and the urban renewal consultants. At this point, what we're going to end up doing is setting up some time that works for staff and our attorneys, and we'll work with, send out some meeting dates. Actually, I think Rick has some dates that we might be able to talk about today with the commission itself for this work session, and we want to get that on the books. And then if the consultants can attend that meeting, we'd love to have them there, but staff and the attorneys feel very confident that we can facilitate that meeting ourselves if need be. Rick, do you have those dates?
Yeah, we're looking at potentially June 30th, either AM or PM, July 1st, AM, or July 2nd, most likely PM, could be early AM, but most likely PM, July 2nd.
I know that's the week before 4th of July. Is that, do we have availability from those who are here to attend that meeting?
On the 30th, what was in the afternoon?
A morning or afternoon?
Morning or
Morning
afternoon. Yeah, we just have a noon meeting, but
Okay.
Ryan.
Does anybody have any heartache on the 30th? Let's start with that one.
Have you talked to Corey?
Good? AM or PM?
AM. Ashley.
PM works better for me, but I could do either, but works better. But
Neither's, he's not good that day, neither is Ashley.
oh, you got your Wednesday morning meeting, don't you?
Yep, and Ashley wasn't good either on that day.
Okay. And the first was morning?
Correct.
yeah.
Do you have any idea how long the meeting's going to last?
2 hours.
2 hours?
I got
No
a
more
10
than 2 hours.
I got a 10 o'clock on the first, so.
I've got a closing that day, but I can probably work around it.
We could probably go as late as 11 AM. Ryan has a 1:30.
And I am not available on the 1st. I'll be up at Anschutz Medical Center all day long.
All right, let's move on to July 2nd. Did you say either on July 2nd?
It would have to be early AM, like 8 AM, or after noon.
I'm good with 8 AM.
8 AM works for me. 8 AM on the 2nd. All sitting here goes, Mandy and Dolly would have to chime in, but later on. But if you can send them an email or something.
Yep, we can reach out to them directly.
All right, July 2nd, 8 AM for a work session.
And then to follow up on, as far as scheduling goes, I want to make sure I have a quorum the week of 4th of July. So is anybody planning on not being here on that Wednesday? That would be Wednesday, July 7th.
Me.
I know, John,
My
Rob?
calendar's at home on paper.
Okay,
I can check it and email you, though.
well, that's
So that
perfect.
was Wednesday, that's our normal
That's
Wednesday
our
meeting?
normal meeting on July 7th, yep,
I think I'm fine, but
okay.
Yeah, pretty sure I'm fine,
Everybody else is good? Okay,
you know.
that's all I needed. Happy to take any questions, or Rick, do you have anything you want to add as far as updates?
Nothing more than what you've added already. We're just digging a little deeper into Pharisee to verify. I'm doing a little more digging into Pharisee Ford to look at the financial side of things. Ben Pharisee's, he's being very diligent in being very careful, I guess, which is admirable, really. But it just makes me do a little more work. So, and that's what I'm putting into it, our due diligence to make sure everything is as everybody believes, and he'll then take it to his brother to talk over the whole project and see what they feel about it, where they stand on it. So it's actually a pleasure working with him, because he's a very level-headed, careful, analytical person.
He
Good
made a
to
good
see.
presentation to us. I thought he did a really good job. And,
Yeah.
So you're still talking negotiations with him, and then probably come back to us possibly August? No, July might be a little quick.
Possibly. We'll see how quickly we can get through all of this. Yeah, we'll get through this, and then we'll talk terms of repayment, that sort of a thing, and see how
Okay.
comfortable they are. So, yeah, it could be August.
Okay.
I do have a question. It's a little bit off the subject, but it's still Urban Renewal Authority kind of stuff. So being on the school board, I do the bargaining sessions every year with classified and certified to licensed folks. And what comes up every year, but it seems to be worse this year, is the crisis of affordable housing. So what I've been doing is I've been doing a lot of legislative research into what communities do with URAs and those sorts of things. And common language is affordable housing. And I sit in those sessions and my heart breaks for these folks that work 2 and 3 jobs to pay the rent, if they can even find a rental. So I'm just curious because I don't come to all the city council meetings, obviously, but I'm just curious if that issue has been addressed, and I can kind of tell on your faces that it's causing you some emotional angst as well as myself.
Your question's very serendipitous. Actually, I reached out to Adam Hartman today to set up a meeting to discuss this exact topic. So we have a meeting scheduled later this month.
Yeah, and we have, as far as the technology people, the remote workers who are coming to town, we're losing them right now because we don't have any housing. And they're starting to look as far as Durango for housing. So it's a huge, huge, huge priority right now.
Well, and the shortage of educators in the state of Colorado is at a crisis level. And we can't compete salary-wise because we don't have the funding.
Right.
And then because we can't compete with salaries, they then can't find a place to live. So,
Yep.
I mean, part of our mission is to put quality educators in front of kids, and it's just,
It's
the same in healthcare, it's the same in the police force, it's a crisis, it really is.
We do have a project right now that's going through rezoning. They had first reading on Monday with City Council, and second reading will be on the 21st. And that project is to target the missing middle with duplex, or actually I think there's sixplex townhome style development. So we're hoping to see that through, and they have a letter of intent on the project. So hopefully all those pieces come together.
And I was going to chime in that we have had an additional 4 public hearings for housing in one way or another, whether it was a new development or ADUs. And then this fall, we have Rural Philanthropy Days. And in that, we're connecting nonprofits in the city with developers and other, like DOLA and other government agencies, and specifically having a housing panel. And we're hoping to also do kind of a housing workshop with DOLA and other agencies as well, so we can work on ways and other funding that's coming through the federal and state government to acquire affordable housing in our communities. So yeah, it's it's on our radar pretty big time. I say one of our number one priorities for city
Thank you.
council.
I left that meeting thinking, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? So,
We do it all the
thank you.
time too, yep.
And we have another housing developer that I've been talking to for a few months now, who's gonna be coming in July or early August to see some properties that I threw to him as possibilities. Not property that's listed for sale right now. I've spoken to the owners of the properties to see if they'd be interested in selling, and they would. So there could be, yeah, everything is there could be this. This would be a little bit of a longer-term project. It would probably be a planned development project. But they definitely are interested in coming here. It's just a matter of whether we can make it happen and it works in their capacities and production schedules, I guess you could say. So,
And they could be a player in the school district discussion as well.
absolutely.
So the problem with affordable housing is it still costs the amount of money to build a house. So what you're talking about on affordable housing is subsidized housing. And who's going to foot the bill for the subsidizing? Whether it's DOLA, state, federal, somebody's going to have to foot the bill. And it's real difficult for local governments, as you guys well know, and it's Commissioner Grantham knows.
But
So-
it could be part of the URA,
Yeah.
Affordable Housing through the Urban Renewal Authority. At least that's the language that I found when I did a lot of research this week.
Ah, that's why we have you here.
Thank you.
Okay, John, you have something?
Yeah, if I could make a request, maybe could part of the executive director's report have just some metrics on, projects that have been approved, projects in the pipeline, and potentials out there at whatever level you'd like to assign to that, but something like that might be awfully nice to have.
I was just going to
and be
ask
able
if
to talk
we
to
had
them.
any updates on approved projects, if there was any dirt moving or,
So are you looking for projects that are city approved or not necessarily urban renewal approved?
No, this is since this is the Urban Renewal Authority, limited to what we've approved, what's in the pipeline, and what's potentially out there. Just some metrics.
Sure.
That would be awfully nice, I think.
Absolutely.
Okay. Anybody have anything else that they want to discuss along these lines? Economic development or anything else? Rick, do you have anything else?
I would have to say not at the moment, no. I'm just not prepared. So,
Okay, so we took off the Holiday Inn Express discussion. Anybody want to talk about the Avalanche or the Nuggets or? As long as it's not the Rockies. Okay. Anybody have
more like
anything
what's
else?
for
They want
dinner,
to just add
but-
for the group.
My only comment on the Avalanches, they're, right now, it looks like they're about 2/3 of a Stanley Cup team right now.
Yeah, I'm good with Vegas winning it all because I'll make a lot of money, but that's just me. Anyway, with no further business coming before this board, we are adjourned.